Hi there. In this video, I'm going to walk you through analytics and reporting. Before I get started, I just want to say that Clinical Classroom is divided into two parts. The first of which is Clinical Classroom Learner, which is meant for any residents or practicing orthopedic surgeons to basically go through any of the modules or probes that we have. The other side is Clinical Classroom Educator, which is what you're looking at here. And this is meant for any administrators, any program directors or coordinators, or any attendings who want to check in and monitor the residents in their program. So what you're seeing here is the dashboard for Educator, and it's organized by classes. You can also see all the learners in all of the classes and analytics for all of the classes as well. The reports work better if you go into a class first. So your dashboard probably looks a little bit different than mine. I'm seeing all the classes that we have. You'll probably just see your classes, and typically they're divided by graduation year. So in this case, what I'm going to recommend is you click on the class that you'd like to see reports on for those individuals, let's say in the class of 2022. In this case, I'm just going to use JBJS test class. So let this be sort of an example class for how you would access reports. So once again, I'm going into a specific class, and now what I'm looking at is the dashboard for this JBJS test class. So all the information I'm seeing is within this one class. The dashboard has changed just a little bit. We still have analytics, we still have learners, but now we have assignments over here. So if I go to learners, I can see all of the residents or all of the learners within this class. If I go to assignments, we have Clinical Classroom Learn, which is the main package of Clinical Classroom and has all the modules. We have Practice Set, which basically is all the information again, but it allows the learner to create practice sets. These both are by default assigned. Basically, it gives the learners access to Clinical Classroom to go through the content and create practice sets. And finally, I have a foot and ankle exam here. This is just for the class. Essentially, you'd see all of these different assignments show up under the assignments exam or assignments tab. Finally, we have the analytics tab over here. Now, this is where you would access any of the reports. So once your learners have spent some time in Clinical Classroom and they've garnered progress and such, you can see all of that over here. So once again, we're in the JBJS test class, so everything we're seeing is for that class. As you can see, there are a lot of different reports that you can access. The upgraded version of Clinical Classroom has a lot of new reports to look at. It's just a matter of finding which ones work for you. My personal preference is Performance Summary. These reports are great if you want to look at how a class is doing, and Performance Summary or Class Overview are probably the best to give you the information you're looking for. So I'm going to click on Performance Summary and just use this as an example. So when you go into that Performance Summary tile, now you're seeing a bunch of reports within this tile. You're always given an about section that'll give you information about each report in here. And the way that it's designed so that it doesn't load for too long, because it's basically populating a lot of data, is you'll manually just calculate these reports. So I recommend going through to see which ones are ones that you're looking for, and then calculating afterwards. So I'm just going to pull up a few. I don't want this video to run too long, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but class progress by modules is essentially for the entire class, the average progress by module, as you can see here. And it's colorized as well. Hopefully you're able to see the percentages, but it's an example class, so the progress is a little low. Next, I calculated learner progress by modules. So this is probably one of the more helpful reports. Essentially, it's a breakdown of each learner, their total progress in Clinical Classroom, and their colorized progress by module. So you can see all of that here. You can easily download this and make it into a CSV file. I'm going to scroll down a bit more. Performance Summary is another great tool that you can use. I'll load this while I explain the others. You can go class progress by topics. And then I would say this is another really helpful report here. You have to click on a specific learner and then click the title. And it'll basically give you information, all the information about how the learner has performed. So it gives you Gives you information on each learning objective they've gone through, each question, how they answered it, if they got it incorrect or correct, and when they accessed it. So basically, all the information you could ever want. It just takes a little while to load, which is why I'm not going to show you. You can look at the class's most challenging learning objectives, which is great if you want to tailor your curriculum to your residents' weaknesses. You can look at how the class is spending time in Clinical Classroom, and you can also search between 2 dates as well. So now that this report has loaded, performance summary shows their total progress, total time spent in the platform, the number of questions, which is the number they got correct over the number that they've seen, their current unaware, which essentially is the program's assessment of what the learner has yet to learn, and then their last access, which means when they last logged in. So also can be downloaded, just great information if you want to see how everyone's doing and if they're actually using the platform. Finally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly show you, this is great for a group, but if you're interested in a specific learner, you could click on that learner in the checkbox here. Let me scroll up so you can see it. And when I do this, you should see this 3-lined icon show up. The filter is a great way to essentially filter the data so that it only pertains to what you add into the filter. So I'm going to click filter here, and I'm going to filter by the learner. And you should be able to see now just the learner is in the filter up here. So every report, it's all the same reports. Everything you see here will now just pertain to that one particular learner, which may not be helpful for all the reports like this one, but something like performance summary, we can see when they're logging in, or most challenging learning objectives to see where they're struggling, to see specifically when this learner has logged in or between what dates. And then this is also a great opportunity to click on this report and have it load. Basically, you can see their performance since the beginning of time. So I'm just going to go back to the main tab. I'm not going to show you all of these, but I definitely recommend you go through and see which ones you're looking for. If you have any questions about where something lives, feel free to contact me, Aiden Smith, at asmith@jbjs.org, and I'll help you find it. One last tool before I let you go is if you're interested in how a particular learner is doing, you can use the filter that I showed you, or you can go to learners over here, and you can find a particular learner in the class. Click on their name, and you're brought to sort of a hidden report called Learner Overview. You can't find this in the tab. You have to click on the specific learner. And any report that you'd like probably is here. It basically is a whole glimpse of everything you'd need to know about the learner, how the learner is doing overall, how the learner has performed by learning objective. CME isn't very important. You can see all the exams that they've been assigned and how they've performed in those exams when they've logged in. Some of these look probably similar, but there's a lot of information here that's really useful if you're just looking for one particular learner. So I would use this if you are looking for information on just one learner, or I would use the performance summary or class overview reports if you want to see how the group is doing. With that, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoy using Educator.